Hey, good morning, good morning, good morning, guys. How are you guys doing today? How are you guys doing today? Hey, this is Gregory Wiles coming live to you from Houston, Texas, with his inspirational morning talk. For first-time listeners, I'm on Thursdays at 8:45 a.m. Central Time. That's our time here in Texas. And you can calculate which time zone you're in. Yes, the goal of this is just to give you something a little inspirational to start off your day. So much negativity we can encounter during the day, and it's just good to have something a little positive to chew on throughout the day to balance off what we're going to face during the day. But if you listen to this at the end of your day, it's to help you finish that day on a good note. So today what we're going to talk about, I entitled this, What More Evidence Do You Need to Believe? What more evidence do you need to believe? And I'm stuck on this message of belief. God is just putting this across my path. So I guess it's a thing that lots of us are struggling with. Is this little bit of unbelief, and he have me stuck in this message. And I think probably it just come to me that he's preparing us, because I usually do my end of year fast, prepare people for the end of the year fast. I recommend doing the end of the year fast to prepare yourself for the next year, just kind of clear the way. We can look at why all of those a lot of your New Year's resolution don't make it. There's a lot of factors that could go into that. So we want to give ourselves a chance to succeed. So I guess he is preparing us for this and telling us, even though we fast and we praying, the bottom line is we got to believe. We can't doubt. We got to believe. We got to clear up all that unbelief. So let's look at this story here today. John 20:24 through 31. John 20:24 through 31. It's a story you might be familiar with, but let's dive into it a little bit. This is when Jesus appears to Thomas. Jesus appears to Thomas. Remember, Jesus was resurrected from the dead, right? This after his resurrection. John 20, and then we read from 24 to 31. It said, Now Thomas, also known as Didymus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. This is when Jesus came to them after his resurrection. So the other disciples told him, We have seen the Lord. They're excited. We have seen the Lord. But he said to them, this is Thomas said to them, Unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my finger where the nails were and put my hands in his side, I will not believe. Thomas said, I don't care how excited y'all coming to me, tell me I'll see Jesus. If I don't feel those marks, because y'all ain't gonna fool me. I gotta feel those nail marks in his hands and in his side where I saw he was pierced and where he was nailed to the cross. I need to feel those marks to believe that's him. A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came in and stood among them and said, Peace be with you. Peace be with you. Then he said to Thomas, Put your finger here. See my hands. Reach out your hands and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe. Then Thomas said to him, My Lord, my Lord. So now he believed. He see the nail marks. Jesus let him put his fingers and feel it for himself. Then Jesus told him, Because you have seen me, you believe. But blessed are those who have not seen and yet have believed. Right, guys? Blessed are those who have not seen and yet believe. We talked about this before. The kingdom works differently. It's not seen, it's believing. The kingdom is believe, and then you will see, right? So I was thinking myself this morning, I said, God, why you got me stuck on this message? Why? Because I did so much of teachings over the last month and a half or 2 months, and it's all around this believing, different scriptures you bring up, and it's but a believing. So this tells me a lot of us are still struggling with a little bit of unbelief. We believing for things, but we still got a little bit of unbelief there, and he's trying to clear us up and saying, hey, what I have for you is done, but it's your own unbelief that is blocking it. And he's trying to help us clear this up. But you see here, when the first thing he came back after the 8 days, he didn't get upset with Thomas. He had patience with him, right? He had patience with him. He said, peace be with you. Then he turned to Thomas. He didn't whack Thomas and get upset with Thomas and said, Thomas, all this you saw, you was with me all this time and you still doubting. And you know what the irony is? Thomas was with him when he raised Lazarus from the dead. Thomas was right there with him when he raised Lazarus from the dead. So Thomas know that this man got the power to raise somebody from the dead, but yet still he doubted that this same man who had the power to raise someone from the dead could be resurrected. He still doubted. And how much of us are in that situation, right? Gideon, when God was telling him that he can use him to deliver his people, he think little of himself. My clan is the least of the clan in Israel, and I am the least of my family. So he's saying, God, you sure you choose me? He asks for signs. He asks for different signs to prove that, and God, we still need some more signs. We still have the little doubt. And the next thing you got to look at, no one that said Jesus, till after 8 days, Jesus appeared again. So who told Jesus that Thomas was doubting? Who told Jesus that Thomas was doubting? That tells me he knows our heart. He knows what's going on in our heart. And on the outside, we can say all the stuff that we believe, I believe. But he still knows the little doubt exists in our own heart. He knows what's going on in our heart. He knows we're saying some stuff with our mouth, but we still got a little doubt. Remember when he healed the 2 blind men, he told them, do you believe you can be healed? They say, yes. He said, let it be unto you. You know, what you believe. So if they didn't get the sight restored, he know that they did not believe. He said, let it be unto you. You know, what you believe, let it be unto you. So if you believe you're going to get your sight, you get your sight. Because it's done. I'm the Word. I sent here to heal. I'm the Word. I know it's done. But you're going to get it if you completely believe. If you didn't get it, it's because you didn't believe it. That's what he told them in that case. Let it be unto you what you believe. And they get the sight, so they tell me they completely believe. So this message here, man, is telling us, a lot of us, we still got a little unbelief. And we need to check that. We need to clear it up. Because this message is not going away. And he used Thomas' situation. What more evidence do you need? What more evidence do you need? You was with me when I raised a man from the dead, but yet still you doubt that I can be raised. And all your friends coming excited telling you, credible men who was with me all this time, you know these guys. They were so excited that they see me and they're telling you, but yet still you say, no. I don't believe that, bro. I got to see that to believe it. I got to see that to believe it. Are you in that situation? Are you in that situation where you know God telling you something? You know the promises he make, but you still telling yourself, I got to see it to believe it. Well, he's saying, no. Thomas had that opportunity to see because he was right there. He was trying to tell his disciples in this story here that from now on, you guys, there's no more eating and sitting and drinking with me. But I leave my word, I leave the Holy Spirit, and I leave my word here. And you can still eat and sit and drink with me. But now you got to do it in faith, that through this word, you're talking to me, just like how you're talking to me in the flesh. Listening in my word, through this word that I leave here, and following it is just like you following me as one of my disciples. You got to walk in faith now, because you're not going to have the opportunity like Thomas to physically touch me. But you got to believe you're physically touching and walking with me and talking to me when you read this word. And then you follow this word. It's just like you're one of those disciples that following me. Now we ain't got to do it in faith. And that's what we're trying to tell them. Thomas, you're the last guy can get to do this. But blessed are the ones who going to believe without seeing. You got to go on in faith now. I'm still here in this word. God, he said the word in the beginning, the word was with God. Then the word was God, and then the word became flesh and dwelt among us. So this word is him, and we could still be one of those disciples, but we got to do it in faith now. Whatever he's saying, we got to believe it. Maxine, good morning. How are you doing? So yes, guys, so this believing thing is not going nowhere. You got me stuck on this message. So we got to remove the little bit of unbelief that we have to see our miracles. Remember with Martha and Mary, when they went to Lazarus' grave, and he told her to remove the stone, so he can, call Lazarus the stone that was before Lazarus' grave. And Martha went on to explain to him how the body might be starting to stink now because it's 4 days Lazarus died. And he told her, didn't I tell you need to believe to see the glory of God? That stone was not only a physical stone that was blocking the grave. That stone was still a little bit of doubt that she had, thinking that this is impossible, God. Jesus, this is impossible. This man dead 4 days now, his body starting to smell. She still had a little doubt that it was impossible that Jesus could do this now. And that's why he deliberately waited the 4th day, because the Jews had believed within 3 days a man could be raised from the dead, but after 3 days it's impossible. So she still had a little bit of doubt. And that's why they removed the stone. So the stone wasn't only a physical stone that was blocking the grave. The stone was a little bit of doubt that she had there blocking her miracle to see her brother alive again. And just like a lot of us, we have the stone, the little bit of doubt that's blocking what he's telling us that he's going to do for us. And he's telling us we need to remove the stone, because our miracle, our breakthrough, our blessings is right behind the stone. Just like when she removed it, she finally get the courage and they removed the stone. Jesus was able to raise a man who was dead 4 days. So our miracle is behind the wall, behind the stone. That's what we tell Thomas here. Thomas, you got to stop doubting and believe. Then Jesus told him, you only believe because you see. But blessed are those who have not seen, but yet still believe. This is John 20:24-31. I can just read it over. This is after Jesus was resurrected from the dead. Now Thomas, also known as Didymus, one of the 12, was not with the disciples when Jesus came. So the other disciples told him, we have seen the Lord. But he said to them, unless I see the nail marks in his hands and put my fingers where the nails were and put my hands into his side, I will not believe. A week later, his disciples were in the house again, and Thomas was with them. Though the doors were locked, Jesus came and stood among them and said, peace be with you. Then he said to Thomas, put your fingers here, see my hands. Reach out your hands and put it into my side. Stop doubting and believe. Thomas said to him, my Lord, my God. Then Jesus told him, because you have seen me, you have believed. Blessed are those who have not seen, but yet still believe. So Jesus, if God is asking you to do something, and you're probably on the fence, and he's saying, you got to believe. I put it on your heart. I've given you all the signs. Maybe this teaching, I hope this teaching push you over the edge. Stop doubting. Remove the little unbelief that you have, because your miracle, your breakthrough, your blessing is right behind that stone. That stone, like in the case of Lazarus, remove it, and it's going to be done unto you, as I say. All right, guys, I'm going to leave that there. But have yourself a great, great day, and let's work on this little bit of doubt that we still have lingering and remove it completely. Have a great day. Goodbye.